Well, hello and welcome to our next live session. And we have Jean Wright, all the way from the USA, speaking on sales confidence, in particular today or at this session, overcoming sales myths to achieve success. Now, we often feel a little hesitant around sales, but Jean has a very different approach to that, and I think she'll share some of that. Perhaps feel free to introduce yourself further, Jean, and take it away, please.
Thanks so much, Sigrid. I'm so excited to be here. It was about 2 years ago, I decided after a long career in sales, and I'm talking about 30 years of sales experience I've had, it was time to write the book. It was time to write about my experiences because I learned from women that I had seen as members of a women's business group that there was a problem out there about confidence in selling. And I thought, I have a lot of great stories about my sales experiences and what I did to overcome some of those confidence issues. And how could I help other women by telling my story? So I wrote my book called Selling Your Confidence. And it starts with from selling mint cookies to martinis, not selling martinis, but enjoying them at the end of the road. um, I didn't realize that my selling interest started when I was selling cookies for my Girl Scout troop back in when I was 11. So that's where my story begins. And that's where I take it to all the challenges and experiences I had throughout my career. So now I like to call myself a sales confidence builder and also a speaker. And I do coach women who come to me when I speak to them in groups and they say, "Oh, there's something that's holding me back. There is some part of that sales process that is really not working for me." And as Helen said before, there are entrepreneurial women and people who have to wear many hats. And unfortunately, one of the hats that they don't care for very much is that sales hat because they're afraid. And I am addressing their sales fears when I speak to them. And this is my mission. This is where I feel I can really help women understand themselves. And I decided to talk today about the myths that surround our feelings about sales because it's really holding you back from your success. And I think women may lack confidence in selling for many reasons, and some of which could be rooted in the society we live in and those personal experiences that we've had with those stereotypical salesmen. Note that one. But I believe there are some key factors that contribute to this lack of confidence. And let's talk first about those cultural experiences. Haven't we all had some negative experience in a sales situation where we felt like we were intimidated? We didn't want to part with our money. We felt we were being manipulated because someone was being aggressive and asking us to act quickly. And then we, in turn, feel like do we have to be like that when we're in sales? Because when we hear the word sales, we think of those past experiences that have turned us off. And we think, well, I'm not that person, but now I have to be that person. And I feel really bad about it. So now I don't like to sell. I don't think that's for me. So unfortunately, that's turned us away from our enjoyment of selling. And there can be enjoyment. The other aspect is the fear of rejection, because we don't think that when we have a rejection for something we talk about, we take it personally. And we don't like that feeling. So that's another aspect of our concern about our feelings about selling. And then we also may see fewer women out in the sales world in those leadership roles that are selling. So we don't think, oh, that's really not a natural fit for me because men are the salespeople. So we have to get rid of that feeling as well and change our mindset and not feel like we're imposters either, because sometimes we doubt our expertise and we feel like we need to know more or be more confident about our products, which you should be passionate about, but there's some hesitation sometimes in who we think, who am I to say that this is something you should have? There are sometimes those feelings that I am not the expert, so why should you listen to me? And we need to start feeling more like we are the expert at what we do, and we want people to know about it, and we want them to have the product or the service that we're providing. And that's another part of undervaluing ourselves, maybe struggling to price our products or services according to what their real value is, um, feeling that it may not be worth it, or you're worrying that maybe you're being too greedy. Am I asking too much for this? And then you devalue yourself or your product. So, trying to bring yourself to that point of, yes, my experiences and what I have to offer is worth something, and I can price it accordingly. Those are the types of feelings we have to overcome. So we have that more confident feeling about what we are selling. So these are some of the things that people, the other women come to me with when I'm coaching them. You know, they also may say, I'm not certified in this area, or I haven't had advanced degrees in this area. And I'm not sure I can tell people or coach them or provide them my services in a way that I feel confident. So it really upsets me when I see people who seem to be successful in their business, but there's something just holding them back and they can't ask for the money, or they feel like, the imposter syndrome, or they don't know quite how to follow up with somebody, or they don't feel fairly really good about their presentation. How they're dressing may not make them feel confident. Maybe they need to reassess how they appear in a business situation. So these are some things that women start believing about themselves, that this is not how I feel good about myself. So the myths that they believe in themselves about selling can really affect their success. And what is a myth? It's that false belief or idea in something that probably is something you talk yourself into, and it's really not true. It's exaggerated, or you keep repeating something in your mind and you accept it as truth, and you're not really thinking clearly about how you feel. So in the business context, um, those limiting beliefs can hold you back from achieving your success. Maybe, for instance, in selling situation, you might think, well, I'm an introvert. I'm not really an extrovert, so I will never succeed. And that's really not true, because many introverts can be successful in selling. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to know that you have passion for what you have to offer. And that doesn't mean you have to be an extrovert. You just want other people to have what you have. It's important to you to make sure they're happy with the solutions you can provide. So let's try to debunk some of those myths involving those challenging those beliefs with some more facts and some new perspectives. And some the image some women have of being in sales is often surrounded by those myths, holding them back from reaching their full potential. And so myths like people feel like, I don't want to be pushy, or I don't have all the answers, so I'm not sure I'm really the expert. So let's take away those unnecessary fears and hesitation, and let's rewrite that and uncover the truth about what it takes to succeed in selling. And the main three things to keep in mind is being authentic, being a connector, and having that confidence in yourself. So how do we do that? Let's talk about three different ways we can overcome sales myths and beliefs, and how we can be more successful. So that first one, that one of those beliefs I mentioned before was, I think that selling means I have to be pushy. And let's face it, really, Selling is all about building relationships with people, getting to know that person that you're speaking with, not pressuring them. You want to know what it is they need from you, what their problem is, and so you can help them solve it. And you want to focus on creating genuine connections. You want to listen more than you speak, understanding those needs of your client, and then they're going to feel more valued and they're going to feel more heard. And then you're going to start collaborating on how you're going to work it out so you can solve their problem. It's not as transactional that way. They're starting to have more belief in you and trust in you. And you want to guide them and not push them into a decision. You want them to see what the decision will be by providing all the information that they're going to need after they give you their concerns. So think about that. It's a good way to overcome that feeling of I have to be pushy. I have to be that way to make them make a decision. And who wants to do that and feel like they're intimidating somebody? Another myth is I'm not aggressive enough to be a salesperson. And it's not about aggression. Like I said before, it's about connection and collaboration. When you first meet somebody, you're not going to sell them the first time you meet with them. You're going to get to know them, as I mentioned before. You're not going to be aggressive. You're going to be a listener. You're going to be someone who is a problem solver. And we are empathetic people as women, and we like to listen and help people. So let's take advantage of those wonderful qualities we have and not feel we have to adopt that aggressive behavior, but we want to be a listener and empathetic. And honestly, a lot of employers are looking for more women today in sales because they feel that they are more emotionally intelligent to be able to handle those problems because we do it every day. Let's face it, we do it with our families, we do it in our relationships. We try to be the person who's calming the waters, so to speak. So let's use those innate skills and traits that we have as women to use them in a way that's a positive and in a sales situation. So I have people that come up to me and say, I could never be a salesperson. I could never do what you do. I don't think I could ever succeed in sales. So when you come to this with a negative uh, opinion of yourself, not giving yourself the opportunity to look at what you have to offer as an authentic person, then you won't be successful if you don't feel like you're a natural salesperson. Because here again, you're looking at what our cultural norms are about salespeople and who they are, what they're like. And so it's more important to kind of learn some sales skills and just kind of take the time to use what you've learned about how to sell and make it your own, make it your way, make it your personality. Uh, if you don't feel like you're born with a sales skill, just learn what the sales process is and make it according to your personality and being kind and interested in people. And they're going to want to work with you. I'm sure you have had experience with people who you prefer to work with because they were kind and interested in you as a person and what your needs are. So um, a lot of women think they have to have charisma or charm, but in reality, just practice communication skills and knowing that in building your confidence and consistently showing up to serve your clients. Because let's face it, customer service is really important in the end. When I say communication, there's all aspects of expression. And after the sale, you want to make sure that the person you're working with is happy with the product or the service you provided. So you want to continue the conversation, and they're going to want to continue working with you, and they're going to want to refer you to other people because of how they've been treated by you. And other communication skills that you should keep in mind are the way you dress, how it represents yourself and your brand, and how you speak, how you make your eye contact with people. And the more you build yourself up with your image and your presentation, the more confidence you can have. And I think once we have that confidence part figured out, we can serve our clients even better. Like I said, with the best customer service we can provide.
Can I jump in there, Jean? You have shared
Yes.
some excellent detail on the selling. I'm just going to put it onto multi-speaker. Hopefully, oh, I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen this screen before. I just wanted to check in with you. It's absolutely interesting how, as women, we do have this different approach to sales. You hear it time and time again. And yet, I think we are the best negotiators, as you pointed out, in our female life most of the time, where we have a lot of homeschools
Mhm.
to do. We really are practiced for most of our life in negotiating, and that is really part of sales. Would you agree?
I definitely agree, especially when you have children at home or your spouse and you're asking for something to be done and you maybe give a reward or you're trying to make the group settle down after maybe there's been some conflict and you're trying to be the negotiator, as you said.
Mm,
Uh, Someone may say they want you, a child especially would like a product that they see on a shelf. Maybe it's a little expensive. So you can talk to them about the opportunity to have something less expensive and how it would benefit them as well, even though it's not the best, but it's something else that would be just as good for them and it will still bring value and it will be something they'll be happy with. So,
mm,
yes, we do that every day. And I've often talked to women who are sitting next to a friend and I ask them, take something out that you love out of your purse that you would like to tell them about and explain the benefits, well, the features, and then the benefits that they're going to receive by having that because you love it yourself and you want them to have the benefit of what that product offers. So we do it every day. We are marketing ourselves every day, whether it's our services or our personal brand of what we enjoy doing. Don't we want someone to try that best recipe that we found that everyone loved that we made for our big event? And we want them to enjoy it too. So if you don't, you're actually selling. So don't think that you had to be aggressive to do that, or don't think of all the personality traits you used to make that happen.
mm.
And you're going to find you didn't use any of those negative personality traits that a salesperson possesses in, that you met in a negative situation, in a
Mm.
bad selling experience. So we have to just take a step back and think about that.
And I think you've made a very important point that sometimes we do forget in a sales situation, perhaps. We love what we do. Therefore, what we are selling is something we love. And you just pointed out we do it every day. So when we can think of the benefits we know we can offer with what we offer, that would, I would imagine, give us that boost of confidence in the moment, in the sales moment. So putting aside perhaps thinking that, oh, I'm selling my program, but thinking this is really great what I have to offer. Is that something I'm sure it comes through with you yourself
Yes,
along? Yeah.
I agree. I really believe confidence, authenticity, empathy are actual superpowers that we have. And we should let go of our myths and become more confident in what we can do with those innate traits. And then you want to be known for what you do. And I have had great sales experiences where I have been hired by somebody because they know what I have done in my past job and I already have a reputation.
Mm,
And the reputation is she's not the person that's going to represent me in a negative way. She's going to be that kind, caring, trustworthy, honest person that a salesperson should be. And I believe that if you're going to be successful in this business, you have to cultivate that, and that track record carries with you so that when you go on to the next level, it will be what people expect. And you can carry along other customers that will follow you, which I really like.
You're describing most of those scenarios in your book, aren't you, Jean? So it's a really
Yes.
valuable tool, I guess, in a way. And that is from my perspective of writing, publishing, and marketing a book is a big component that you are creating a book that supports your expertise, but also your brand. And you can always offer that as the tool to others to get that first insight of who you are and what you do. And you've had great success with that, haven't you?
Yes, I found that when you write a book, then you become an expert at something. And I don't know of anyone who's talked about the confidence aspect of sales. We can certainly take lots of sales classes and trainings, which I have in my throughout my years. But the question that I pose to women is, now, how do you really feel about it? You're out there. You're in the trenches. You've been tasked with the job to go out and promote the product and receive money for it. But there are a lot of obstacles, there are a lot of challenges that you face, and sometimes you feel very alone. But how can you know that other people have had that same experience? And maybe some of the tips that I provide can help you too to get through that. So, I find it to be a fun kind of story too, because I want people to see that life is life and there are, you know, ups and downs and really interesting experiences that add to the next level when you go up. I like to constantly say, the next job I had was the next challenge, and
Yeah.
it had something from what I've learned that I can build on and use it in my next
Yeah.
uh, position
It's
in
great.
what I'm doing. And
Mm,
then you get a little smarter about how to handle people when you're in the sales
mm.
at the sales table and they say, I need to think about it. I'm not sure. What should I do next? Can you lower the price? There's all those things. And I help women do that too when I'm coaching them. But it's always good to understand your authentic self and bring that across when you're
Have
negotiating,
that, yeah.
when you're closing, and when you're doing that customer service to keep everybody happy.
For sure. Are you okay, Jean, if I'm going to open the floor for just a few questions from our attendees at the moment around the topic that you have spoken on, and then we coming with the questions towards the final of the segment. You okay with some opening questions?
Okay, we'll see how it goes.
So let me just raise your hand so I can see that on the screen. If you've got a question for Jean, please, and we'll ask her a few things about sales. Helen, go ahead.
Thanks, Jean. Some lovely examples there, and some nice. I think it is all very much about getting the myths out of our heads. You talked about the be authentic piece in particular. I loved your example of sharing your use of something, tapping into that. Can you just perhaps share a story of someone who found a particular way to do that, like something that really resonated either with you or with them?
uh, about talking about something that they love or
No, more
to
about how
persuade them?
about shifting from trying to be someone else to being themselves. The authentic kind of piece.
Well, sometimes I speak with women who will rattle off exactly what their job description is. And then I ask them, well, why don't you think about all the things you love about how you do your job and how you help people with the job that you do? And it makes them bring it to another level. Instead of being an advertisement,
Mm,
it's more interest in the other person, and they get more excited when
mm,
they start thinking of it in that way instead of, okay, my name is, I do this, and this is how, here's my card.
yeah.
And it's very transactional. And when I see them change it to the interest in the other person and how I'm helping them, and I really love what I do, and I want you to understand more about it. And that gives them an opportunity to take the conversation to a next level in their next meeting. They don't understand that that's really what they're getting at when they're in that first meeting or that networking opportunity. And it's fun to see when they come back to me and say, I tried it when I went to this event the other day and it really worked for me. And I love seeing that excitement that they hadn't thought about doing it in that way, so that they can be more authentic.
That's great. Thank you. That's perfect.
Okay.
Excellent, excellent. So what would be your finishing, letting us go words for this segment on the myth around the sales, Jean, from everything you've shared with us so far?
Well, let's just let go of myths and let's show that we're the expert at what we do. Three people can stand together with the same, being in the same industry, but you're not the person next to you. You can deliver your product in your own way, and uh, and it won't be the same thing as someone else does. So you understand that you're an expert and you have the best qualities to promote yourself because of you are you, and embrace that selling as an extension of your passion and your purpose. And that way you'll unlock more opportunities to grow and to succeed and connect with other people.
Excellent. Thank you so much for all those words of wisdom. And it'll be really good to go through this again to recap on what you shared with us. Thank you, Jean, for your presentation today.
Thank you so much. And I have more information in my booth that you can download and actually schedule a chat with me if you have something you'd like to discuss about your challenges with selling.
Thank you.